Hi everybody. So I had a question about what exactly I do with corms. So you know how we started out with corms in this closed box. You can see them in there. So I have, open this up here. I have, this corm is definitely ready to be planted. So let me pull him out here so you guys can see his roots. This guy is definitely ready. That one's pretty close. But I am going to show you exactly what I do, because that was the question, is what exactly is my approach when I take corms from in here floating in the water to here. So I have found, and let me show you guys. You can see I have a dragon's breath there, and all three of those are all black velvets, which is the same as this guy. This is also one of the black velvets that we had found in a previous video. So I'm gonna gently sit him down here. So I like to start with a smaller basket. This is a 3-inch hydroponic basket, and I found these clear cups. I like them because of the height. I like to put a decent amount of water in here. So I start with the cup and the basket, and I add clean Leca. These are just, you know, the clay Leca balls. I add them in, honestly, pretty close to the top. You can kind of see. And I sit my corm. So I take him gently, and I just kind of make a little spot for him. I sit him in there, like so. And then I sort of just kind of, you can see I just have his roots sitting on top of that Leca, and then I gently add more Leca in around the corm and to cover the roots, because the roots will find their way down. I have some examples I will show you. Let's see here. I don't like to cover, so see where, right here, where he is gonna put out a leaf. I don't like to cover any of that with Leca. But as you can see, pretty much all the roots are covered. And I get him just situated like that, but leave room for the roots to come through. Now, these Leca balls were pre-washed, so they're already wet. So normally I would just pour the water straight through to get the Leca balls wet so it doesn't lose moisture. But since they are already wet, I'm gonna start by adding water in this cup. I started about half because I like to see roughly where it comes up to on the cup. Now, when I start these guys this small, I fill up the whole way to like the top of the lines on the basket. So right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and add more water. You guys can see, oh, too much water, go figure. Let me pour a little bit of this out. And there we go. So you can see this is actually a smidge higher than I'd like it. So can you see right now how you can actually see the water around the corm? I don't like it that high. So I'm going to pour a tiny bit out again. There we go. like that a lot more, and I will show you. So you can see the Leca is wet, but it's not literally sitting in water because it comes up to about here, and that is right about where the roots are gonna start, and they'll start growing downwards. Like I said, I had some examples to show you guys. So this is how I've done all the black velvets. And as you can tell, of the ones I had in this container rooting, 3 have been moved into Leca so far. This will be number 4. 1 already has a leaf, 1 almost has a leaf, and then the one behind that is getting close to having a leaf also. They've all been potted at different points of time. I wait until the roots, I wait until there's at least 3 good roots that are at least 3 inches long, if not longer. And I can show you for an example, the last black velvet I have, which is taking his time. We have 2 small roots here. I'm just gonna let him go. I can show you on the silver dragon where we did the video. This guy has 1 really long root, and then we've got 2 shorter roots. I'm just gonna wait till those shorter ones catch up. Same with this guy. We've got 2 really nice ones. I just let them go and soak until they pop those roots out. Like, see this guy? He's already like starting to look like he wants to get a leaf, but he hasn't put any roots out yet. So he's just gonna chill in this little container under the grow light until he puts out enough roots that I feel comfortable putting them in the Leca. That's my method. It seems to work well for me. Like I said, I was gonna show you guys examples. So this is a black velvet I bought that was not so hot. It had quite a few dead leaves, all of that. I will pull it out. I will show you this root growth. Look at that. Crazy. This thing had, like, honestly, maybe 2 roots. And I mean, these roots are just crazy. Now, you can tell some of them are very fine and thin, you know, true water roots, you know, but some of them are getting a lot bigger. And you can tell, you know, he dropped the leaves that, you know, when I got him, when he wasn't in very good shape, but you can tell we've got new leaves coming. But more importantly, he really worked on his root growth. And that's what I wanted him to do. Now I'm actually gonna give him some water today. I don't water him as high. Now that he has all these roots down here, I actually wait till he drops just about to where he's at, pretty low. I actually might, if you can see on this side, I might let him go another few days until he's a little closer to the bottom of the basket. And then I will give him more water. Sometimes he'll tell me, you know, this leaf will get a little bit droopy, and I know that he's ready. But he's really happy like this. I'm not even sure if I'll move him into a pond pot. I might just leave him in Leca and let him be, you know, just keep getting in bigger pots. We'll see. But that's my one method. And then the other method I use sometimes, depending on what I'm working on, is the fluval stratum and perlite mix. I pulled this guy out to show you. I had taken some corms off of my Ivory Coast, and they were a little further along and they had roots. So I just, instead of putting them in water and doing the method that I showed you guys, since they were a little further along as baby plants, when I removed them from the mother, I just put them straight in the fluval stratum mix. And I gauge this, I feel it you look at it, you look for it to start to feel dry and look dry. It'll almost look a little like the, I don't know if you can see some of the dark colored fluval will almost take like an ashy charcoal look to it when it starts to dry out, and that's when I know I can go ahead and give him some water. And for these guys, since you can tell his roots are more established, I just put about this much water in. Not too high, because you don't want them just sitting in water. But I have had very good success growing corms from the little tiny corm phase in water into Leca or fluval stratum, depending on what I have going on at the moment. I can bring them all over. So you can go from little corm the whole way to something like this, to this. And I'll even show you guys, I had a poly, one of my first plants back a while ago, that went dormant for a while. And I took it out of soil, everything, and my friend mentioned, she's like, why don't you try throwing it in Leca? And I was like, oh, that's a really good idea, because all my other ones are doing well. And I don't know if you guys can see in this basket here. So obviously these are new roots, but in there he had some like darker, just kind of roots, not so great. Since I have thrown him in here, pull a couple of these Leca balls off. Look at these roots. They're coming from the top. They're coming from the sides. Those ones that weren't so great, you know, are actually growing and expanding. And he's come out of dormancy. He's put out this leaf. Super happy. So I have finally found my method, because I've tried a bunch of different things. I have finally found my method that seems to work really well for alocasias, jewel alocasias. They seem happy. And like I said, I have some of my, you guys know, I have some of my, you know, my beloved ones here that, you know, I just love. You know, my variegated Friedick is in pawn, but you know, with how hard it is to get pawn right now, you know, I have been looking for an alternative method. And Leca and fluval stratum seem to, you know, really be doing great. I can show you another one that has done, I thought for sure this particular plant has really special meaning to me, and it came to me in soil, so I had left it in soil. It grew a leaf died, grew a leaf died. You know, it was just kept going back and forth, and I got to the point where I thought I was going to lose the plant altogether, which was really upsetting to me. And I was like, you know what, it's to the point I think I'm gonna like lose it. I pulled the like corm of this Hilo Beauty out of the soil. It had no roots on it. I stuck it in fluval stratum a couple months ago. I don't know if you guys can see the roots that have grown on this thing, and it has given me 3 beautiful leaves, and this one is pretty big compared to my hand here. It's super happy. I actually think it needs a little bit of water too, but it's super happy. So if you're having a hard time finding pond, or you just have not had the best luck with alocasias in soil, I have given you some viable options that will make your plants happy. I have one plant that one alocasia that seems to love soil, and this would be my alocasia blizzard. I don't know if you guys can see all the growth. We got new leaves coming out all over the place. And believe it or not, this guy even had thirps when I got him. And he still looks like this. I did put him in a clear pot. You can see, look at this root growth. I keep a very close eye on his roots because I'm always waiting to swap him out, but he's done so well in soil, I have just left him go. But this is not normally the case with my experience with alocasias. Everybody that has been in soil has needed to come out of it, get a good root wash. We have videos on how to transition from soil to things like pond or Leca on my channel if you want to check it out to see. But like I said, we bring all these guys in here. We have lots of very, very happy alocasias growing. Over here, I'm like, look, we even got a Jacqueline hanging out back here that's getting all kinds of new growth. I could pile some more in. We've got silver dragons. I've got more Ivory Coast. Oh, I love alocasias. We have just had a love-hate relationship until I really found what works for them. So if you guys have questions, anything like that, let me know. I will be more than happy to try to guide you.